Hey, what's happening, everybody? Ask Jesse answer time. Are you ready? Here we go. Question comes to us from Vicky Crollo, and Vicky asks, how to overcome stress when everything seems to be crashing at your feet? It really isn't, but the battle is real. I feel like we get a lot of stress-related questions in the Ask Jesse, and I think it's really important to touch on this, and this is the most important, well, I'm saying important a lot, so it must be important. Most important thing I can ever share with you about stress, and that's this. Stress is voluntary. Okay, let me say that again. Stress is voluntary, meaning that we are literally raising our hand and saying, here I am, I will stress. There is nothing in any rule book or anything forced upon you that is telling you that you have to be stressed, that we have to be stressed out. So unless it's like a physical stress that we're under, like when you're working with weight and you're pushing down and there's a strain and stress applied from the force, you're pushing against that. The emotional stress is voluntary. It's how we're perceiving a situation. And I would say that if you're perceiving, even if you're acknowledging that not everything's really crashing down, but you're perceiving it to be that way, right? So what I would say is likely contributing to your stress is not everything, but the story you're telling yourself about everything. You see, more likely than not, I'm willing to bet, Vicky, that there's probably a few significant things that are going on. And in those significant things, you're negating all of the other things around you that are going right. And then it makes it into this broad encompassing, everything is crashing. Well, everything really isn't crashing. You said so yourself. But when we perceive things that way, it's easy to start stressing out. Because it's implying that our physical reality is literally changing around us. I get a little nervy too. It's kind of like when you go and take off on a plane and it gets a little turbulency. I remember one time I was flying and it was coming back from Europe, so I was flying over the Atlantic. And it was getting close to wintertime, and for whatever reason, and I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but the last few times I'd made that route, the turbulence had been really bad. And I would get uneasy with the turbulence, and so we get over this point, and it's literally, you know when you look at the screen and the planes and it shows you where you're at geographically, and you're right over the middle of the ocean, the worst part you ever want to be for an airplane, right? Because you feel like if you went down, there's nobody going to rescue you. Well, that's where we are. And the plane starts to get really bad turbulence, and the captain comes on and says, folks, we're going to be in some bad turbulence. Please fasten your seatbelt. I'm okay, no big deal, routine. And he said, no worries, nothing to worry about. I'm like, I've never heard a captain say that before. And then it starts to really shake, really shaking. I mean, this is some of the worst turbulence I've ever been in. And I'm just thinking, wow, what's going on? And the captain comes back on and says, well, unfortunately we're going to be in this for a little while. It looks like we can't get out of it for 30 minutes. No worries, nothing to worry about. And then it's shaking, and it starts shaking even more, and I'm thinking, wow, this is bad. And I'm looking around to see if anybody else, because I'm starting to stress out. The captain comes on again and he says, flight attendants, please take the first available seat. No worries, nothing to worry about. I'm thinking, wow, I've never ever heard a captain say that. And the plane starts shaking even more. And as the plane's starting to shake, all of a sudden you feel the plane start to turn and veer, and you see the wing go up, and you can feel the plane just drop. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what's happening? And as fate would have it, one of the flight attendants sits next to me, and I look over at him, and he looks completely calm. And I'm about ready to lose my lunch at this point. And I say to him, I said, hey, is it always like this here? And he looks at me so calm, and he says, you know what, I kind of like it when it's like this. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, it reminds me of being on a roller coaster, and I love roller coasters. And my first thought was, man, that's kind of strange. And my second thought was, wow, how powerful is that? You see, his perception of the situation was so different than mine that he didn't look at it as being stressful. He looked at it as being a fun ride. And he probably took himself to a place where maybe he has a really fond memory of family or friends at an amusement park, and he's so associated to that. And so he took a situation that I was perceiving as being stressful, and thus was experiencing stress, as being someplace fun. And he remained completely calm and was able to just enjoy the ride. In life, oftentimes things happen that we stress about, and it's not the most enjoyable. But remember, stress is a voluntary experience. You do not have to stress. And if you find yourself stressing out, change your perception. Acknowledge that the reality is not everything's crashing down. And be fair to acknowledge that there's a lot of things that are working right. The fact that you can type, that you have the internet connection to push that on, that you have blood that's pumping through your body, oxygen in your air, eyes to see with, fingers to touch with, all those things. If you're going to stress and encompass everything, it damn well needs to be everything. And if it's not, you need to be really real and honest with yourself, because you're doing yourself a disservice by saying that stressing is everything, that you're stressing about everything. At any given time, turbulence, the turbulence that we face in life, it can be a stressful situation, or it can just be a roller coaster ride. And if you don't enjoy roller coasters, it could be something else. Remember, stress is voluntary. You don't have to do it. Change your perception, you're going to change the experience. I'll talk to you all soon.